Hey everyone, and welcome to today's video in which we're going to test a very big, mobile and exotic 27-inch 4K monitor, the UMax 27 switches by Uperfect, which, well, isn't perfect, and there are two issues that you have to be aware of before buying it. And we'll also quickly talk about a monitor switch to connect up to 3 Uperfect 4K monitors to one single laptop via this little docking station here. For full disclosure, the monitor was provided free of charge for the purpose of this review, and I received no monetary compensation. Uperfect did not see the review up front, and they didn't tell me what to say or test at all, and that won't stop me from pointing out its flaws. Okay, what do I mean with it being exotic? A, it's actually portable while being huge at the same time, and B, it comes with a switch that lets you choose between 4K at 144Hz and Full HD, aka 1080p, at 288Hz internally inside of the monitor. We've been seeing more and more monitors like that from numerous manufacturers lately, targeting enthusiasts that use their PC for both very high-paced gaming at lower resolutions, like for esport kind of games, and also for working or consuming slower content at higher resolutions. Alright, before we're going into the details, let's have a look at what's included in the package on delivery. There's of course the Uperfect UMax 27 switches monitor. Then we have two USB-C cables. One of them is for the also included small 65-watt GAN USB-C charger with a surprisingly good length of 180 centimeters, and the other one for connecting a device with 120 centimeters. Then we're having an HDMI cable with a length of effectively 95 centimeters and a, well, surprisingly flimsy DisplayPort cable with a length of 100 centimeters. There is no bag included, and currently it seems as if no fitting bag is available on Uperfect's website. Now the UMax 27 switches weighs 3.5 kilogram, which is not exactly nothing, and it has a size of 61.6 by 36.3 centimeters, and it's between 1 and 1.9 centimeters thin. The design of the monitor is, like with all Uperfect screens, very simple, but it's built very firm and rock solid with a full metal body and some plastic bezels around the screen, but the overall build quality seems very good. Again, Uperfect didn't print a logo on here, but they actually responded about my complaint on that topic, and they said they will start doing that soon. It comes with a very firm integrated kickstand at the back that also allows us to use the monitor vertically, which is nice. And there's also a full 10 centimeter VESA mount. Now connection-wise, we're getting two USB-C ports here at the left side for either powering the screen or connecting a source device, an HDMI port, a display port, and a 3.5mm audio jack, while it also includes two integrated speakers that sound quite flat and won't get loud at all. But well, having them for emergencies is okay, I guess. Now the U3V is a dual mode monitor with a matte 27-inch 16:9 IPS screen that can be used with either 4K and up to 144Hz at 162 ppi or Full HD and up to 288Hz at 81 ppi. You can directly switch between these two modes in the OSD menu, while it's a bit annoying to get there and takes at least 6 button clicks. Now, according to their website, officially only the USB-C port can provide the full 288Hz at 1080p, but at least for my MSI Vector 16HX and my desktop PC, that was a bit different. I was only able to use up to 200Hz at 1080p for USB-C, up to the full 288Hz at 1080p for HDMI, and up to the full 288Hz on 1080p for the DisplayPort as well, which I tested on my desktop's RTX 5070 Ti. Using the 4K mode, all three cables provided the full 144Hz. Now for the color accuracy, my Spider X Pro measured 96% for sRGB, 75% for Adobe RGB, 77% for the P3, and 71% for the NTSC color space. That's a decent color accuracy for normal work, gaming, and most amateur content creating. It's not close to an OLED, but it is definitely decent and fun to work with or play games on it. The viewing angles aren't great though. Slightly leaving the center of the screen, like moving your head a little, already shifts the colors, and a constant color is kinda turning into a gradient. The brightness was a decent 435 nits, which is quite a bit lower than the advertised 530 nits on their website though. And I only measured a contrast of around 750 to 1, which is, at least on paper, quite disappointing. However, on a cloudy day without direct sunlight, it could almost be usable. Here you can see it in direct comparison with the IPS screen of my MSI Vector HX16, which is brighter and has a better color accuracy and more saturated colors overall. For the power draw, I measured between 16 watt and 35 watt depending on the monitor's brightness level. Though it didn't matter if the screen was fully white or black, that had no influence. There was some minor backlight bleeding, but that is not visible during normal daytime use if the image isn't completely dark or black. It's exaggerated in this footage. Now we have to talk about the issues. According to UPERFECT, the response time in here is 15 milliseconds, meaning while it's not a catastrophe, this isn't above average for gaming or fast movement. In fact, most gaming monitors these days have a faster screen. A refresh rate of potentially up to 288 Hz at 1080p means that the monitor provides a full image every 3.5 milliseconds. Now, if the response time for a pixel to shift its color is 15 milliseconds, that means there's going to be 3 to 4 ghost images because it can't react fast enough on these potentially 288 pictures per second. This creates a so-called ghosting effect for moving objects, and you can see it right here, shot with a camera at a shutter speed of 1 millisecond. But I have to be honest, I'm probably too old to really notice ghosting when playing at 288 Hz with 288 FPS. Also, I barely see the difference between 144 Hz and 288 Hz. What I'm seeing is a super fast reacting monitor and an incredibly smooth overall image. But you have to be aware of it. That could be a deal breaker for people that are very sensitive to that. The second issue, the image quality in Full HD mode. While Full HD is exactly 1/4 or a quarter of 4K, and therefore it should in theory be easy to up and down sample between these two, the way this monitor handles this lower native 1080p resolution is not good in my opinion. It looks very jagged and the edges are quite perforated. It almost looks like an interpolated 1080i from 20 years ago. I made pictures of that here. And the native 1080p image looks way worse than the 4K image downscaled to 1080p, at least if you're taking a closer look. If you're like 1 meter away from the screen, I guess it's okay, but text and sharp edges definitely suffer from it. However, the Freesync adaptive sync function seemed to work absolutely fine, and the NVIDIA app even recognized it as G-Sync. And I was getting a perfectly smooth and tearing-free image in gaming, both using the 4K and the 1080p modes. Also, it worked perfectly fine from even less than 40 all the way up to 288 Hz/FPS. The monitor does have HDR integrated, while it's not true HDR, and I personally probably wouldn't use it that way as I just don't see the benefits. Since it's a portable monitor after all, using it with a power bank like this should be doable. Although, at full brightness and 35 watt, this will empty most power banks pretty quickly. Also, a rather big integrated battery of 80 watt-hours would be empty in around 2 hours. The OSD menu itself is okay, self-explanatory and all, plenty of options, but like with most UPERFECT monitors, the input via the 4 hidden buttons at the side is a bit annoying. You really have to memorize the functions of the buttons and then you forget everything until you need it again a few weeks later. So as always, that's a clear con in my opinion. Overall, this is an interesting device and a cheaper alternative to similar monitors by bigger companies, while it's not exactly cheap either. But they really missed a chance here with the high response time and the rather pixelated 1080p mode execution, while I'd personally stick to the 4K mode in most cases, as in my humble opinion, 144 Hz is already plenty. However, this is basically one of the biggest portable monitors around, and I mean 4K with 144 Hz, a decent brightness and a Full HD 288 Hz mode is pretty unique in the monitor world, let alone portable versions. The 94% sRGB seem okay, but overall I'd expect either more color accuracy or less response time in that price class. If you're interested in getting the UPERFECT UMax 27 switches for yourself, you can use the affiliate link in the video's description or the comment section and use my codes Hubwood50 for a $50 discount above $500 or Hubwood60 for a $60 discount above $600, and I'll get a small percentage of the transaction while it's actually cheaper for you. Right now the regular price is around $669 without any discount codes, including shipping. With my code, it's around $600. Also important, Uperfect is paying for any custom duties that might appear. And last but not least, let's talk about the docking station here, which should be doable quite quickly. If you're planning on using multiple of Uperfect's monitors with one single laptop, you could get their new triple docking station, which allows you to use 3 USB-C connectable monitors up to 4K at 60 Hz, which you A, need to connect to your laptop's or mini PC's USB-C port, only if it supports display out of course, and B, needs to be powered separately by the included USB-C charger if each monitor that you connect needs more than 15 watt. The build quality here is really rock solid and pretty good. Usage is quite self-explanatory, so nothing to complain here, if you're willing to pay $189 for it before any discount codes have been applied. Alright, if you would consider a slightly smaller 23-inch portable WQHD monitor for a lot less money instead, take a look at this video next. And that's already all for today. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for more mobile, laptop, handheld and mini PC stuff in the future. Thanks for watching until the very end. See you next time. Bye bye and tschüss.